back, friends. Okay, I am in my garage. I got the door shut. It's pretty cold outside, but I wanted to be able to make this video for you. We are back again doing another end table. So last time we did a smaller end table. I will post it right here, and then I will show you over here the one that we're going to do. This one's going to be a little bit chunkier. The last one had more like a 12 by 12 top, and this one is going to be more like around 2 foot by 2 foot square top. So plan is we're moving, and my plan, I really love this 731 Woodworks. I'm going to show you guys the plan since I keep looking down. The 731 Woodworks, he has a whole series of this farmhouse furniture. I'll show you here. All the different stuff that we're going to be doing here in the future. So I'm moving. We're going to do a whole wood shop segment, and then we're going to do a whole farmhouse furniture segment. We're just going to use Matt Outlaw's plans. Again, going with the whole idea that I want to show you guys how easily accessible this stuff is, and how easy it is to get started with woodworking. And as far as knowing how the furniture goes together, you don't really need to know how to do that. There's a lot of plans out there. You don't have to come up with it yourself. So I'm going to try to do this video a little bit differently. Rather than using this microphone and taking you step by step, I'm just going to build it, time lapsing obviously the boring part, so you guys don't have to watch that. But then I'm going to do a voiceover and just try to do my videos a little bit differently on this one, and just see if you guys like it a little bit better. So first things first, we're going to go ahead and get to the cut list like always, and we'll start getting the pieces cut up. And then so let's break down this cut list here. We got our legs at 22.5 inches. We got 4 of them, obviously. This end table has a top apron and a bottom apron, one short and one long side. The short side is 19 inches, the long side is 23 inches. That happens because of the way that the wood is jointed to the 2x4. One side you butt into the wide side, the other go to the narrow side. So that'll help keep this whole thing square. This is mostly built out of 2x4, and the bottom shelf is going to be made out of 1x6. Surprisingly enough, this project had minimal table saw usage. Right here, I'm just ripping down the 2x4 to create the lower apron to make it an even 2x2, basically 1.5 by 1.5. Oftentimes when we're dealing with construction grade lumber from Lowe's or Home Depot, you get a lot of crowns and bows and overall just trash lumber. So I was having some trouble with my 2x4 kind of pulling away from my fence there. So I came back to cut another section, and I used my 4-foot level as a guide there to kind of extend my fence. And man, what a difference. That was a great tip. I got that from Matt Outlaw from 731 Woodworks as well. Definitely going to be using that one from now on. That was a great power tip by Matt. Thank you, Matt. And just like I always say, would you really be even working on a project if you didn't have to go back to Home Depot or Lowe's at least one time in the middle of the project? So what I was doing is I had my cut list, and I was supposed to cut 2 for the lower apron. I was supposed to have 2 at 19 and 2 at 24. I think that's what it was. I'll have to look back at the plan. I was supposed to have 2 of those, and what I did is but what I forgot that what I was supposed to do is actually rip down each of those into a 2x2. So I really only needed 1 of each, because I was actually just cutting both of those in half. And so I ended up becoming 1 plank short of my top tabletop. So I was 29 inches short of what I needed. So now I get to go all the way back to Home Depot, and what it is, whatever, it's just kind of par for the course for me. I always got to go back at least once. I always forgot some type of tool, or some type of material or piece or screw or bit or something. But fortunately, I love going to Home Depot, and it's not that far away. So let's go. And welcome back. So I got another 8-foot stick. Like I said, we were about 29 inches short for one more of these planks for the top shelf, or the tabletop, I guess you'd call it. So now we're back. Got my 29-inch piece cut, got all 8 of them done. Next step, I'm actually going to try out a new tool. Yesterday I purchased this rigid planer. It is barely used. I got it for $180 and it came with, he gave me a wind dust collector too, so I guess I'll get to try that out with my router when we route the edges, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, let's, I ran a couple live edge maple pieces through it yesterday and it flattened it right out. So I think this tool is going to be a real game changer for me and my abilities. So I'm going to run them all through, get these things nice and flat.
This tool is the shit. I am so glad that I bought that for 180 bucks. And this thing is, like I said, it's going to be a game changer for me. I hit this thing, as you can see, it makes a huge mess. It doesn't really, he gave me a dust collector, but I don't really understand how it attaches to it. So if I'm missing something and you guys know what I'm missing on how to attach some dust collection to this piece of machinery, please let me know. I would love to hear any tips. But yeah, man, this thing was a great steal. This thing was a steal for 180 bucks. I'm glad I bought it. We finally have everything cut and planed down, and it's time to start the assembly. I'm using the Craig pocket hole jig, again, the 520 Pro. I kind of gave a little explanation on how this thing works in my last video. Here you can see me checking the depth, or excuse me, the thickness of my material. This time, the only difference on this one and the last one is I'm using 1.5 inch material. So I'll set my depth gauge to 1.5 inch. And start drilling some holes. I like to drill all my holes first and then come back and start screwing things together. It just kind of saves me from going back and forth on my drill bits. Yeah. Now it's time to start the assembly process. I will use clamps to hold everything in place. I'll also use glue. And another difference, but while using 1.5 inch material as opposed to 1/2 inch or 3/4, we use 2.5 inch pocket hole screws. They're a little longer than the other ones, obviously. But yeah, this all goes together just like the last end table. As you can see, I'm now setting the lower apron, and what I'm using is my combination square there. I just set it down to set the measurement to 5 3/4, and I'm just making my marks there so that when I attach my apron, they're all nice and level for the planks that I'm going to add in later.
All right, friends, we're back here on day 2. So yesterday we finished the frame. Everything was good to go, right? Wrong. So at the end of the day, I decided to do a little dry fit, had the frame built, had the tabletop built, squared up. Everything was good. The tabletop was cut square. I was going to save the sanding and finishing for today. So I decided to do a little dry fit, get a nice little clip, for the video to kind of show what it was going to look like in the dry fit before we started the finish. And I built the entire frame like a rectangle, like this, and it's supposed to look like this. So that goes to show, if you're going to use somebody else's plans, make sure you follow the plans, because I just decided to start piecing things together. just kind of got in my groove and just started going all willy-nilly and decided to apparently go off plan and build a rectangle. So I had two choices. I decided it was either I rebuild the tabletop um, or I rebuild the frame. And so I quickly disassembled everything, scraped the glue off, decided that I was just going to redo the frame rather than go to Home Depot again and get a bunch of lumber, recut it, replane it. So this seemed to be the least suffering, and now it's built the way that it's supposed to be built. So I have redone the framing, and now we're going to get to the actual finished part. So we're going to get to sanding. Obviously, we'll do a time lapse so you don't have to hang out through all that because it's really boring. So I'll try to be quick about that, and then we'll get into the paint and stain and all that stuff. So anyways, I just wanted to share that with you guys because mistakes do happen. Also, I do preface this entire channel on the fact that I am not an expert woodworker. I come from a carpentry background, but that comes from a concrete carpentry background. I am not a finished carpenter. I'm learning every day. I'm getting better, but I think it's important to put out that we all make mistakes and that we can find.
When it comes to the sanding process on this one, I just started off with a 80 grit just to knock off all the big spots. And then I worked my way up to 150 grit. I didn't go any further than that. When I'm doing like a farmhouse style or like a rustic look, I usually don't go past a 150. And now that the sanding's done, we're going to move on to the finishing part. Here we got pre-stain wood conditioner by Varathane, and we're going to use a true black, just like I did on the other end table from Minwax. That pre-stain wood conditioner is an absolute must-do. It just helps with the blotchy or the uneven stains. I used it on my last couple of projects, and I'll never do another project, especially like a tabletop. I'll never do that without using this product again. It just makes a huge difference. As you can see, I'm applying it pretty liberally. I'm just giving her a good slathering. Doesn't take too long to dry, usually about 30 to 45 minutes. I'll let it sit. So I'm going to apply this and then get started painting. The frame is going to be a chalky white paint, just like I did the other end table and like I'm going to do the rest of the farmhouse line. And here we have it, the chunky end table completed. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe and follow the entire series of this farmhouse build. Thanks.